Welcome back to Bonded by Bravo. I am your host, Amy, joined with my co-host, Jenna.
Hi, Aim. How are you?
I look insane. And I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to talk about it. And you know, sometimes you got to talk about it. Okay. I got filler yesterday.
I was going to say, you want to tell the people what you did?
I'm going to tell the people what I did. I got filler under my eyes because this is what women that are aging do. And I felt great about it yesterday, but it looks like I got punched in the face today.
I'll be honest, I don't see it.
Oh no, it's not even that eye. Right here.
Yeah, see, exactly. Did you only get one eye?
No, I did both, but she needed more on this side. No. So I'm all filled up. Hopefully next week I'll just look 25. That's what
being a girl is so hard. It's funny that you say this because I know you were talking about makeup before. So the other day I'm like sitting on the couch and every time I do my makeup, I'm like, I know I'm doing this wrong. And so I looked up a makeup tutorial and
excuse me.
I finally did it. I've been thinking about it for like a year. Like it's time to just look at a makeup. Just watch it. Just watch one. So I sat there on the floor with like, and the thing that every time I watch one of these, well, I haven't watched that many, but I watched like 2 or 3 that day and I'm like, oh, there's like different methods and different products. And I feel like I'm stacked with my products and it's expensive. Like if I were to lose my makeup and my, like the bag with like the toner and the face, I would be poor.
It would be $1,000 out the
100%.
I learned about baking the other day.
See, like, I feel like I'm just getting with it. And now I don't know what that is.
Well, it's this thing that you do where you like put powder under your eyes and then you press on it. And then, I mean, I should have freaking done it today because I look like an insane woman.
And what are the benefits of baking?
The benefits. I guess smooth skin. Like it's so crazy because as I'm looking at myself in the camera, it's like, oh, you have greasy. Like I look greasy. And I have so much, like I have Saturday night makeup on and it's a Wednesday.
I feel you.
Oh, speaking of, to our listeners, FYI, our new show date moving forward is we decided we're going to switch things up a bit and we're going to release episodes now on Thursdays to get your weekend started just a little earlier. So FYI, Bonded by Bravo will now be out on Thursdays. So keep an eye out for that.
Starting this week or next?
I think so. I think it's this week. Stay tuned.
Guys, it was an announcement to me too.
So Amy's celeb sighting. I have a celeb sighting.
Yes, you do.
I actually have 2, but so in Amy's celeb sightings. So I went out. I had a friend visiting from LA this weekend, and I went out to dinner in the West Village. And if you go out to dinner in the West Village,
who did you have visiting?
My old friend from work. It's okay. You don't know her.
Okay.
The insult in your face.
Okay. Proceed.
Yeah. So we were sitting and this restaurant is usually like, it's a place where there'll be sightings at. But so we're sitting on it's St. Ambrose in West Village. They have locations all over. But also if you go to the West Village and you sit outside at any given time for an extended period of time, you're going to see someone. It's the perfect spot. Unless you're
me, who literally would love to see a celebrity, goes to LA all the time, has spent time in New York. Nope, no one. I see no one ever. It's like they know I'm in town and they're like, she wants to see us.
You have to go with me. I've never been in the West Village and not seen someone. So I'm sitting there outside at the outside table and John Hamm and his wife walk by right in front of me. Like,
was he super tall? He looks really tall.
I guess I was sitting, but like over 6 foot. Skin was glowing. Like perfect skin. He's definitely getting fillers and Botox. Not that I'm judging by any means.
How could you?
How could I? His beautiful wife, and they were walking by, and I'm just staring at him like, John Hamm, John Hamm, John Hamm. And then he looked to see if there were seats in the restaurant, and he walked on by, and I just followed. No, I didn't follow him. I followed him with my eyes. And then
Who was the other?
5 minutes later, Steven Van Zandt,
I don't know who
walks
that is.
by. He's a musician, and then he also was on The Sopranos. You would definitely know who, if like you Googled him right now, you'd be like, oh, I know exactly who that is. Go ahead, Google. I need you to Google.
I know
like,
that
oh my God.
the sound always comes up. So
that's
let me
okay
do it on
though.
my
I
phone.
told you to do it. Then he walked by. And the other thing that was happening was there were all of these engagement shoots, but no one cares about that. You see, you know who it is, right?
Yeah. Sopranos, yeah.
Yeah. So
well, that's fun.
Yeah, I didn't say hi. I didn't ask for an autograph, but I saw his beautiful skin and his beautiful wife.
I'm sure they
Amy
appreciate
Celeb Sightings. And
So
I submitted to Do Moi.
Oh, you did? Was it on there? Did she post it on
I just
Sunday
submitted
morning?
it.
Oh, okay.
So I submitted it. She thanked me though.
Yeah, I still got nothing. No celeb sightings for me.
Well, one of the times that you come to New York, you have to come when I'm actually
I was just going to say, I know where this is headed.
And we'll make that happen.
Olympics?
The other thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Are you? I just like, I feel like
I'm afraid to say it.
I hate you. You want to rush through this, and I am
no.
It's
not. It's not that I want to rush through it. I have, sadly, it's so un-American, but I have literally nothing to add because I haven't watched a second of it.
Are you normally an Olympics girl?
The only time I love it is I like swimming, the ice skating, and snowboarding. But two of those are swimming is summer, yeah?
Yes.
Well, you could do swimming all year round. So it's like, but the other two are winter sports. Yes. So it's like, I can't watch.
You're right. You can't in the Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
It's funny. I really love the like pomp and circumstance of it all. The opening ceremony was so crazy. They had it going down the Seine River with all the boats of people. They came, instead of like having it in a stadium, they had all of the teams go down the river instead.
Oh, that's cool.
Lady Gaga performed. You know me and Lady Gaga. We're like this.
I saw DJ Tanner was mad about something.
Oh, they did. Oh God, DJ Tanner.
I know.
DJ Tanner. Yeah. So there were drag queens. It was so amazing. They had
I'm sure it was.
The dancers from Moulin Rouge perform the can-can. That was a little tricky. I found out because when you were watching it, they weren't doing the high kicks. And when you went on Olympic TikTok, which if you're not on Olympic TikTok,
I know.
I don't know what you're doing with your life. That apparently they were so close to the edge of the river that if they kicked up too high and slipped because of the rain and the conditions, they were told like, don't do the high kicks, but it made their dance not look as good as it would have, but they were at risk. Anywho, they were at risk. The biggest, most memorable moment from the opening ceremonies, closing out the opening ceremony, was Celine Dion at the top of the Eiffel Tower singing the French national anthem, giving us all chills. As you know, we talked about her and her documentary and how she's been going through a lot of medical treatment, stiff people syndrome. And this was her first time singing live in a number of years. And tears, so many, it was amazing. Kelly Clarkson.
Are you watching this live or are you going on Peacock and doing it that way?
The opening ceremony I watched is like a rewatch at night because what they do is they'll play it during the day, like now, because it's almost prime time there.
Yeah.
But I'll just rewatch it. That's the only thing that stinks. Like I knew last night when I was watching gymnastics that they already won because it was all over the place.
Got it.
Yeah. But a lot's happening. So I don't know if you saw, there's this one female rugby player from the women's team. I'm going to say her name wrong.
This is like the most I know about the Olympics so far.
She is influencing the hell out of TikTok, influencing the hell out of Instagram. Jason Kelsey went and saw her kick ass at the semifinals, and it's the first medal. The U.S. women's rugby team got bronze. It's the first medal that they ever placed in rugby.
Oh,
And
wow.
so like everyone's like talking shit about her. Not everyone's talking shit, but she's had critics say like, you're all over social media. You should be worried about the sport. And yeah. And she's like, the whole point of right. And the whole point of me being on social media is to bring awareness to the sport.
Yeah, and it's working.
And look what's happening.
I'm not watching it, but I know her, and I know that Jason Kelsey was with her, and that he has a shirt with her photo on it. Like, it's working.
Yeah. And she is a beast. I watched one scene where she just like stiff-armed someone. She's just a killer. She's a killer. And it made me like.
Can you imagine being able to do a sport and be on TikTok at the same time? Like, it's not that crazy.
Women can do it all. God.
Like,
she was getting criticized for wearing lipstick.
Oh my God, I can't.
She said, what's wrong with me being feminine and also being an athlete? Like, what?
This is
why
like the
can't I
same
do
stuff
both?
that happened with Angela Reese from the WNBA.
Right. And
it's
guess what?
Trash.
Women are changing. It's so for me to see her as one of the breakout stars of the U.S. Olympics, being a female, being a badass. I mean, all these Olympians are badasses. She's such a fun follow on the TikTok or the Instagrams.
I just want to know. I just like need a reality TV camera at the Olympics, at the Olympic Village, and I want to know who's sleeping with who. If there's any like drama within, that would be really good TV.
FYI, Dan, our social media friend, this is a great idea. Get out there. Like, this is what Olympic TikTok is. It's basically giving you behind the scenes of like what they're eating, what they're doing when they're not on. I mean, the other breakout star was the men's pommel. Why can't I say the word? Horse. I'm just going to say horse.
Okay.
Pommel horse. Medalist. And he.
Do you want to elaborate on that? What's that?
Yeah, sure. So it's the horse. It's the long. I'm so afraid of him to say this.
Okay, so he's a gymnast.
He's a gymnast.
Got it.
And he only does the pommel horse.
I was like, are we talking like a real horse, 4 legs? Like,
he's a gymnast. And he only performs in this one event. And he knows that he comes in and he's like the saver. Like he comes in, he kills it at this. He's going to get them a high score. What do they call that when a batter comes up and he's like the good hitter? Oh, you're not whatever. So he comes in, he does this, and everyone is hyping this guy up. He wears these like super thick glasses and takes them off before he goes onto the pommel horse. And everyone's like, yeah, I think his name's John. Okay. He's the other breakout star, I'd say, of the Olympics. But this is the stuff that's really, really fun to watch. And I don't know if you heard, and then we can wrap it up with the Olympics. You can tell all of my excitement.
Okay.
That if you're a surfer, all of the surfers.
I have been watching the surfing.
I've been dying to watch it.
It's on Peacock.
Okay. I have your login.
Everything's on Peacock.
Okay.
And you can actually watch 4 screens at once.
I can do that on mine, but I haven't been able to see surfing. So the thing that I thought was so cool about surfing is that they're all out there in Tahiti.
Yes, they said it's the furthest an Olympic sport has ever been from the city where the Olympics are taking place.
Yeah,
it's like
and
10,000 miles.
And they won that bid like years and years ago.
How cool. Did you watch, I think you did, the 100-foot wave on HBO? Oh, yeah. So good.
When we were just in, if anyone hasn't watched 100-foot wave, there's 2 seasons.
So good. Yeah, 2 seasons. And they come to Mavericks, which is like, obviously, like I know it's this iconic surf spot, but like just being able to like drive, like we'll take the dog there. And it's just so crazy that like, okay, we're just taking the dog out, but this is like this iconic, it's where big wave surfing started. And it's just so wild to like have that experience.
How far is that from you guys?
I guess it's like a 15 to 20 minute drive.
Wow. When we were
20 minute drive.
when we were just in Portugal, I wanted to go up to Nazaré so bad. But now's not the time. Like, you're not going to see the big waves there, but it still would have just been cool it's about an hour, I think, out of Lisbon. Still would have been cool to see it. Anyhow,
sure. Yeah.
If you're not on Olympic TikTok, watch it. If you're not following Alona Mare, follow her on Instagram. She is such a good follow.
Where's she from?
I don't know.
Okay.
She's giving like Midwest, I'd say.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. I would say that in a very respectful way.
Yeah, 100%. Like, she seems like a badass, super nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, let's not forget to shout out the Queen Bee, Simone Biles. Won women's gymnastics, won the gold last night. As a former gymnast myself. I remember watching gymnastics as a kid. Like, I could do this. No, I couldn't. Like, you're doing gymnastics at the rec. Like, I could totally do this.
Every time I think about these, like, people who have done so well in their like sport or whatever, or if they're a pianist or a musician, I always just go back to Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers, and I'm like, see, it wasn't me. It was just that these people had so much privilege and time that they're outliers, and that's why they're doing it. It's not on me. I don't have to carry that burden.
It's so funny because you texted me that the other week, and like, I couldn't disagree more.
What do you mean?
But we don't have to get into, like, I think it's a good way to think about it if you're feeling bad for yourself, but I think hard work and determination can take you a lot of places too.
Oh, for sure that. I think both probably exist.
Yeah. Like, It's no joke that there's so many Olympians that didn't have the privilege that are out here kicking ass. Like, don't even get me started. If you have not watched the documentary Sprint about the women's and men's track teams, put that before you watch. I think track and field starts Friday. If you haven't, Sha'Carri Richardson, that's where it's at. I literally could go on and on about the Olympics.
I'm like, this is a sports podcast now.
I'm so invested.
I'm like so not invested. So I'm just like listening as a listener right now. I'm like, cool. Tell me more.
For the pop culture of it, basically Celine Dion is back. Does that help?
Okay, great.
The other thing, this is one more thing I'm going to say.
Oh boy, here we go.
The other thing that I noticed, and I don't know if it's because 2020 Olympics was because it was COVID that we didn't get to see all this, but it just seems like the celebs are out and about. The fashion is out, and like, there's so much happening with fashion. I don't know if that's because it's happening in Paris. There just seems to be like Nicole Kidman, Serena, like obviously the athletes, but even more so many celebrities.
Does seem like this is way more of a celeb event than I feel like it's ever been.
Right?
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's because athletes have because influencing has become so big that athletes have become celebrities. Yeah. Like watching Michael Phelps take a video of Simone Biles, watching Serena Williams and like Nicole Kidman rooting for Simone Biles. It feels like watching Snoop Dogg. I watched this segment on the Olympics of Michael Phelps. You know how they do those cheesy segments in between?
Sure. I trust you.
I'm going to send you this segment. It's Snoop Dogg, Michael Phelps teaching Snoop Dogg how to swim. And I'm like, I wonder if Snoop Dogg imagined this in his life.
That's so funny.
I could go on and on. You better stop me.
Okay, then let's stop. I'm going to get canceled for being so un-American.
That's like the one part that skews me is how everybody's screaming USA. I'm like, ugh. Don't do that.
You don't like that? Okay.
I don't know. It feels a little bit, let's not get political. Let's move.
Okay.
Hurry up before I get canceled.
Right. Okay. So we could go, let's actually I just want to touch on Kardashians real quick. And I really want to just say I stand by, I did end up catching up on it. This season was about nothing. I said it earlier, like in this season, nothing has happened. Tell me you disagree.
No, I want to hear you say, what was it?
A nothing burger.
A nothing burger.
I
It was
mean,
a
I
big
kept
nothing
waiting for
burger.
them. It was like any headline that we had seen throughout the filming of this season, not touched. There was no mention, not even Kim with like, I think we can expect it when it comes to Kylie and Kendall. Like they're kind of here for the ride. They'll show up for their sisters and their mom, but they're like not willing to really get into the stuff about them. We knew we weren't going to hear anything about Bad Bunny or her getting back with Devin Booker or Timothy Chalamet and Kylie, but they didn't even touch on like Kim and the OBJ rumors. And like usually Kim is like kind of like, she's like, this is my show. Her and Chloe and Chris tend to like do their part, I would say. No one showed up for work. Not one person this entire season showed up for work.
I feel like my girl Chloe showed up. Chloe's always, and even Kim's showing up. It's just
wow. We've really switched here.
I just feel like they're the only ones though. Like we can't
tell me
call
what
it
they
the
did for work.
Kardashians.
What did they do? They brought nothing to the table. I could have seen this on their Instagram.
But all they're doing is promoting like their other projects. Like Kim has a camera with it. Like it's obviously there's the plan. Like we're going to promote the prison reform, which I think is really amazing to show.
That's good. Obviously, that's great. But like, does it have to be maybe then like focus that on like do a whole show on that?
I would love that show. And I think that's a great idea I think that's a great segue because honestly, this like pretending to show their life
that's
and then
what it is.
Scott popping up every now and then. And like, with all due respect to Courtney, I could do without watching her and Travis make out on camera for 30 seconds. So
what I could keep watching though is Rain saying, "Mom, stop making out. You just had a baby. Don't have another one already."
That kid's going to be that kid.
A terror.
But I think he's also like going to be in the arts.
Oh, he's so much like
made. She said Courtney. Yeah, and Courtney said like he gets a sense of humor from his dad. I thought that was funny.
I thought that was actually kind of like a cute little moment that like she can see that and like it.
Yeah. It was a big fat nothing burger. Like things I don't. It's a shame because I'm still it's one of those shows that I'm watching just in the background. Like Kendall and Kylie haven't been on in the last 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And they're still probably getting paid for it.
I've seen more of Kylie on like my For You page in Italy than I've seen of her in this entire season that she's getting cashed out for.
I hope her and Timothy Chalamet are still together.
They are. I think there was footage of them just like
in Italy.
A week ago. Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll never know. Or we won't see it on the show. Yeah.
Speaking of, actually, this is kind of a good segue.
Oh.
Speaking of OBJ, did you see that interview that Extra TV did with PPG? And by PPG, I mean Leah, Janae, and Serena.
Okay, I might have missed what PPJ stands for.
Powder Puff Girls.
Oh, duh.
Yes. Not duh. I don't know if I would have put that together if I didn't Google it directly.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, so someone in the interview asked her, it's the 3 of them, and you could tell the guy's like kind of trying to backtrack, but he's trying to like, he says something about Odell, like Cordell's older brother, OBJ for anyone listening. And he kind of is like trying to fish like if her family is excited to meet OBJ. And you could tell she's like, what? And then Leah is like, you can tell she's about to say the F word, like she don't give a and then she like stops. And it's like this it's like this awkwardness. And he's like, like excited to meet Cordell. And Serena's like, oh, yeah, they're excited to meet Cordell. I got confused because then you brought up Odell's name. And it was just like you can tell Serena does not care about him. Like, don't make this interview about Cordell's older brother. This is about the 3 of us right now. And I loved it.
Good. Yeah. That's the thing too. Like, Daya was a red flag when it came to that stuff. Because we all saw what she had liked on OBJ's Instagram, like that's a red flag immediately. It just seems like she went in there for that.
Especially because he had mentioned that is something that he's like kind of extra sensitive about.
Totally fair. Like, how could you not think that people would be trying to come after you because of who your brother is. And I'm sure he's experienced that so many times.
Yeah.
No one's trying to come after me for anyone. I don't know what that's like. But there's still so much happening. We have so many. Been so many podcasts.
Call Her Daddy was one of the best hour and a half of my life. I stayed up till 4 a.m. watching this, and I had no regrets. I woke up so tired, but I was like, worth every second.
We said this because we talked about this personally. But she is the breakout star of Love Island. Like, I felt like I didn't see her personality as much as I did on this episode. You saw it and you saw bits and pieces of it, but she really just let loose and was able to be herself in that interview. And the chemistry between her and Alex,
I was just gonna say that. Like,
I would be
shocked. Yeah, I would be shocked if she didn't walk out of there with the deal with Call Her Daddy or under the Unwell umbrella. She is probably looking over her agreement right now with Skims with her girls. Like, there are things happening.
She's going to be the standout, the breakout. Like you said, like she's already had over 1 million followers. Like, deals are going to be coming in. And this happens every season. There's always the breakout star that gets the deals, makes the money. She's got it lining up. And it's not that Janae or Serena don't. I think we'll probably see a lot of the three of them, but there's something about her. Like, she went on that show solo. The other people are going on with their person. Yeah,
I think because she grew up in Calabasas, like, she's not fazed by the glitz and the glam. Her whole life has been glitz and glam. And so I feel like this is just, she really does get to be herself because she's not intimidated by the cameras or the podcast or the fame. Like, it's very like whatever to her.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting too. It does. And I think even beyond that, even if it wasn't that, to me, she's just one of those, I don't give a fuck people. She's very comfortable in who she is.
When she was asked about Kanye, I was like, this makes just so much sense to me.
I mean, she gives off like Kardashian vibes for sure.
100%. That's what I was
definitely
like,
has a type.
Holy crap. So they're all just if you were to look at all of the girls, like, they just like kind of morph into
different iterations.
Yeah. It's like copy and paste with like a few tweaks.
Yeah. Like Facetune. Facetune. Like whatever other editing. Yeah. I'm really excited to see for what's to come for her. The other interviews I listened to this week were, what else did I listen to?
Did you listen to
Kendall?
Biofiles? Yeah, Kendall and Biofiles.
Yeah,
him
Kendall
and Nicole are
Biofiles. That was alarming. Shout out to our girl Carla, who not only got us the Drake video, she got us the correct Kendall video.
So clarifying from last week, I don't know what I watched.
I don't know what you watched. You just watched a porn video.
Yeah, not Kendall. Not Kendall.
Not Kendall.
I was like so happy that my phone didn't like break or anything over a video not worth watching.
Just like catch up in flames. But our girl Carla got us the right video.
My cousin said it to me yesterday too.
Yeah. It was like 5-10 seconds. It was face down, ass up, like interesting. If I was a gal, I feel like
go ahead. Let's get into it.
I feel like it's unfortunate that this came out before. Whoever did this obviously did it with a vindictive, like they did it vindictively to try to hurt Kendall. And like, I don't really F with that. And that's just something that, these folks going into this, all this is happening while they're in there. And this is what Kendall was talking about. Like, they were saying they didn't even know about the assassination attempt. They didn't even know about Hawk Tua Girl. So they didn't know about they came out and didn't know about Hawk Tua Girl. Like, what?
I listened to her podcast the other day, or her on Biofiles the other day. It was actually not that bad. Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyways, go ahead.
and I just think it's unfortunate that somebody would do that. If I saw that video without context and I'm Nicole, I would get the ick.
But how do you not have context? Because Kendall's right there with you when you're seeing it. Like,
well,
I'm sure he's giving
he?
her context. Like, okay, hey, this is this girl I dated for a couple months back in Dallas. She kind of thought
is that who they're saying released it?
Yeah, he talked about it on the Biofiles.
Wait, did he talked about the video? I thought I didn't hear him talk about that video.
No, he talked about the video.
Oh crap, I missed it. Okay, go ahead.
And said it was I'm like 95% sure.
I was surprised. I thought, oh, I need to re-listen.
And yeah, it was some girl that he knew from San Diego. But they met in Dallas. Or yeah, like they're both from San Diego, met in Dallas, were hanging out for like 2.5 months. It was a situationship. It never like really went further than that. The first time around he was offered Love Island, he said no. I guess like by the time the second, but it was like for work related reasons. Like he wanted to get more settled into his career. By the time they came around the second time, he took it. And then whatever he goes in, he said that he didn't like leave this girl for the show, but like maybe she took it that way. And that still doesn't give any reason to release a video like this. That's so.
It seems like she just wanted her 15 minutes of fame.
Exactly. And I think that's, yes, exactly.
Yeah. I really like.
That's a disgusting way to get it though, too. And it's like, given the kind of climate that we're in, I don't know why she thought that was going to hit.
And I mean, technically, that's revenge porn, right? Like that falls under that.
Yeah.
So he could take legal action if he wanted to, if he knows. I just am not sure if that's where the video came from.
Okay. I'm not.
I have to re-listen. Because I almost swore that I thought that Nick didn't bring up that video, and I was wondering if PR told him not to. But again, I was commuting, and so maybe I was wrong. Anywho, him and Nicole, what he was saying, like whenever Nick asked about him and Nicole, it was very.
Oh, they're done.
He's like, we still say I love you. She's not pulling back, but she's not. We're not sure where we stand.
Don't really say I love you, like every like once in a while.
And when Nick asked if they would show up to the reunion together, he said it's 50-50. Like what? Excuse me?
Yeah,
that's in 2 weeks.
Not. Yeah,
it's. It doesn't.
Look, I did just look up.
Tell me.
There's been a video of this girl who was claiming to be your ex, saying that maybe y'all dated and maybe you broke up with her for Love Island. Is there any truth behind that? Is she your ex? And then Kendall said, let's get into this. I remember coming out and seeing my best friend back home send me the video, and it was deleted obviously by now. And he reached out to her and was like, how could you be so selfish and think of yourself? You know, this is going. Yeah. So.
Okay. I wasn't sure. Because he didn't ask about the video specifically. I wasn't sure if that was the video they meant, but obviously it's the video because it's not like there's other videos.
Yeah, because it says there has been a video of this girl who is claiming to be your ex. Oh.
That's what I'm confused about.
Oh, wait, maybe you're right.
Because there is a video. There is a video of a girl who's saying every time you see the host, you're going to have to say my name because his ex-girlfriend's name was Ariana.
Oh, then I don't know where this other video came from.
Anyhow,
we just debunked that right on live on the pod.
Live and
reporting live. Okay, well then, fuck, I don't know. Either way, I guess let's like get back to that conversation of how would you feel about it? Yeah, I think I would just definitely depend on the context. Like, I really believe firmly in like not knocking anyone's kink. So I would have to know, like, did someone ask you for this video? Was this something you guys explored in the bedroom already? If the answer to both of those questions is no, then I'm out. But if there's like some story behind it and that's what this girl also is into, then like, I guess that's what it is, you know?
Yeah. And I think like for me, like not knocking people's kinks, but until you know that person and know their kinks, it's a person face down, ass up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they're,
I also just like know so many guys that are into ass play. at this point in my life, and they're all single white males, that I'm just kind of like, I guess this is kind of not that abnormal. Like 10 years ago, if you would have shown me this, I would have been like,
I think it's more like we were saying last week, like, oh, there's all these homophobic comments or like these gay comments. Where are they coming from? After seeing the video, you're like, oh, after you were explaining what you saw compared to what we saw, we now understand why people not understand, but there's more context. So we do not understand.
Yeah.
There's more context to why people are saying these dumb comments.
Yeah.
No room for hate. Anywho,
they're not going to the reunion as a couple.
They're not.
I think that's
yeah. I would say that, yeah, not happening. The UK Love Island also ended this week.
Oh, it did?
So not that you care or it matters, but the winners were Mimi. I won't tell you who it was, but anyone who watches will know. And if you're a fan of Joey Essex, he's trash. He's very problematic. Interested to see when you get into it. You have so much Love Island ahead of you. I'm very excited for you.
I know. I just got to finish the OC first. I'm almost there. I'm on season 4. And there's only 4 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're good.
I'm good.
Should we get into Bravo?
I think
Bravo. Yeah.
So Carl announces his bar opening.
What did you think? People are saying it's like a double entendre.
I mean, I think it probably is. I don't know that was his idea.
No kidding.
Yeah, I think that he probably had some partners that really pushed for that because it's great publicity. Like, look at it. Like, we are everyone is talking about the name, and I think I saw like someone had asked him about it, or he's kind of like, I don't know if he's like rebuting it, but no one's gonna buy that. Like there was a whole narrative last season about you talking to Lindsay about how she needs to be more soft. Then you open, and then a part of that narrative is how you kind of need to get a job, and that she thought this bar was stupid or whatever, or just like a bad financial decision. And then fast forward, here we are with the bar, and it has soft in it. Like, don't try and tell us this has nothing to do with Lindsay and like that whole narrative of Summer House last summer. Like, please.
I love a petty king.
I was like, petty.
I love this. And
it's also been it's a great marketing ploy.
Yeah, for sure. I think more than anything, the marketing, and like, I didn't even think about that. I know that's probably stupid, but the marketing part of that, how smart, because all of us now are like, oh, I loved the logo. I loved the logo brand. Yeah. And I'm also like, will I go and check it out? Probably. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Exciting for him. I think it's all about just like, for me, it's wanting to see people win.
Yeah.
Is that true? Do I mean that?
See, like, I would think that I would almost be the one more likely to say what you just said. Yeah, and I disagree. I thought Carl came a little back around for me at the last part of the reunion. But like, when I think of people wanting to win, you know who I don't want to win? Kyle.
But this has nothing to do with Kyle.
I know. I think because I kind of see them together, that my initial reaction when I saw this was like, fuck that, a little bit. And then I was like, wait, like, he is on the sober journey, and you never want to knock someone off their sober journey and all of that. But I think his affiliation with Kyle makes it really hard for me to root for him.
In the same way that the Toms separated, I hope that the Carl and Kyle separate at some point, because it's necessary. And with that's an actual, in terms of like mental health and sobriety, I think it's a great segue, because Jax announced last night that he was checking himself and taking a mental health break.
I think this is about time. Yeah.
Do we think this is code for rehab?
Whatever it is, I think it's like, it's time.
Warranted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
For sure.
I would agree too. And
that
I
means
think
he also has had to put a little bit of his like ego to the side to do this. And that part, that's good.
that's the part that I find very hard to believe. That's the part that I'm struggling with. Like, do we believe this? And I'm hoping that it's for Brittany and his child and not for a storyline on the Valley.
I think it's probably less Brittany, more for his child.
Hopefully. I hope for his sake. I mean, things that we'll always back is people's sobriety journeys, even Jax Taylor's. So even though we're blocked by Jax on social media. We are. Thanks, Jax.
I know, that was actually such a monumental moment when we got blocked by Jax.
That's what we should talk about. We had someone reach out to us to do an article on us, and we were like, what's a pivotal moment in your... We should say that was one of our surprising moments when we got blocked by Jax.
So good.
And speaking of house husbands, I just have to say this, and you're going to be like, what are you talking about, Aim? But just before we get into Jersey, and this has nothing to do with Jersey, I saw another house husband DJing. He crossed my Instagram and he's DJing. Now, Erin from New York's husband is DJing.
The rest of these DJs that have spent their whole lives or like their adult lives figuring this out, and just for a bunch of Bravo Labs to walk in and steal their thunder, I'd be so pissed.
Like, I back James Kennedy, you know,
sure, but he's been doing it since before we saw him on the show. He was DJing.
It's like, instead of getting their red Ferraris, they're now all becoming DJs for their midlife crisis. It's like, come on, can we not?
I know. I guess
I can't look at another one. And then, like, the worst part and the most embarrassing part,
DJing, I'm out.
He's done enough. I think the most embarrassing part is like the 40-year-old wife. Like, come on.
Love it.
Like, things that would give me the ick more if my husband decided to be a DJ. Like, I would never touch his penis again. I'm sorry. Hopefully we're allowed to say that.
Especially like that stage in life. It's just like, wait, what are we doing? It's
like they went from like finance bros to DJing at Surf Lodge. Cool.
I saw your post about your meme about finance bros. Like, what's in your backpack?
What's in your backpack? Is that where all the money
is? Yeah.
So I have to tell this story. Because it really blew my mind. When me and you were in LA the other weekend, I was waiting in line to go to the bathroom, and I started talking to this gal, and she was like, I have an Instagram and I talk about going on dates and dating. This is me in bathroom lines. Like, I need to just shut up. And she's like, I have this Instagram and I talk about dating and experiences. And I was like, I told her I lived in New York, and she's like, and I was like, what kind of guys are you dating out here? She's like, oh, I'm dating actors. I would die to get to New York and date the finance bros.
I'd rather date an actor.
I mean, I would not go that far.
I would.
I wouldn't get that crazy. But like, is this what a New York finance bro or an LA actor? Oh,
you could have a nerdy tech guy out here.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. It's so funny, like how you just brought, but like how each city sort of has its own thing. Like when we're driving on the freeways around here and I see all the billboards, it's all in code. Like it's
like HTML?
Yeah, sure. And like every billboard, it's one after the other that are just like CPM this, code this, AI this. And then you go to LA and it's like this show, that actress. Like it's all over. And it's just so funny. I was like, oh my God, I love this. It's so.
I feel like also the thing in LA is like food and veggies. Like this green juice, that green juice, this workout class, that workout class. We never talked about our Erewhon experience.
It was trash.
It ain't
Don't go, people. Don't go.
I spent the $18 on the smoothie.
The first time I had a smoothie that was good, but that whatever you got was like, ugh.
It was so sugary. I don't know if it. Yeah.
It was a Hailey Bieber one, but it was so sweet. I don't remember it being that sweet because I think that's the one I got, unless I didn't. But yours was like taking like I don't know. It was just like a lot of sugar.
And I don't think it helps that like I was deathly hungover and the sweetness like I couldn't do. Anywho, let's get into, we need to talk about the Housewives.
Yeah.
So we're at our second to last episode of Jersey. And
who cares? I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Andy announced this week that it is true that Jersey will not be coming back in the traditional sense, whether that means all new class, all new cast, or in different, like I've heard there might be a Melissa spinoff, there might be a this, there might be a that. So who's to say what will come of it next? But this, I don't know. I feel like it was nothing burger of an episode again.
The Teresa's big reveal, even Dolores was in her confessional, like kind of like, okay. I mean, that wasn't like, this isn't what we thought it was going to be. Okay, let's start from the top.
Yeah, I mean, how do we think the ladies are feeling?
I would think that Danielle and Rachel, Danielle more than Rachel, are feeling a little bit like, what the heck? Like, we just got here. And
about the show.
Yeah, about the show ending. And I don't know that Rachel's all that concerned about it. I think she could kind of go either way, especially with like the stuff that has come out about her husband and stuff. It could almost be better for them to just fall back into the background. Danielle has wanted this for so long. Like, she was on Made. She's done stuff for Britney Spears, like in a talent competition.
She's got her kid out here.
She has wanted this for her whole life, it feels like. And she finally got it. And then fucking Teresa, Jen, and, you know, gang are just screwing it all up for her.
Yeah.
But she's kind of like, oh, come on, what the fuck, ladies?
I
just got here. I just got here. And you know what? That's the other thing I was thinking watching this episode. She's grown on me quite a bit. Like, there was a comment that she makes about when she's over at Teresa's and Teresa is kind of like laying down sort of like what Marge did. And Danielle's like doing the math in her confessional. She's like, so Marge has done exactly what you and Jen have done, but we're supposed to be like, oh my God.
Yeah. And the ability for Danielle to still play both sides, she's not going hard one side or the other. And I really liked how even last season, to me, Danielle stood up for what she believed in. Like, it's hard going into a season where everyone knows each other, you're the newbie. And in my opinion, Danielle stood her ground. It was really shocking to me to find Rachel last year go against Danielle. And I felt like it was almost like a bullying situation. And for Danielle to not back down and still say, like, I feel this way. This is what I feel strongly about. Like, I'm not going to just change my mind to like go along with the group. That said a lot about Danielle to me. And I mean, the pettiness, I like it.
Of what, Marge?
No, of Danielle, Danielle, and still talking shit to Jen Eden, just being like, you look ugly as shit. I know it wasn't this. I keep bringing it up because it's just so good.
I know. She couldn't even help herself when she said that.
No.
Do you think any of these ladies have like the star power to like stay relevant after this? Let's say like, okay, the immediate after doesn't count because of course, but I'm talking like 3 years from now, are we talking about any of these women?
I think
Jersey.
Melissa, I think the OGs for sure.
You do?
I think Melissa, Marge, like obviously Teresa, Jen Eden, who cares? But in my head, like Melissa, Dolo, Marge.
See, I really like Melissa, and I love Dolores, and I even like Marge. I just don't know what we would be talking about with them. Like Melissa, I like her, but I don't find her like, I just think she's a little boring, which is kind of great. Yeah. Because that means like you're just a normal human being, but
they're talking. One thing I read was that they were possibly talking about doing a show with her family as a spinoff because her cousins got married. Yeah.
Oh, her side of the family. Like her, not just like her.
No. Like her side of the family, cousins, things like that.
Okay, I guess I'm not that mad at that. Yeah.
So this episode,
Yeah.
Basically this whole episode is around the idea that Teresa and her lawyer are going to have a sit down with the girls to break the news. This lawyer, if this schmo,
I think he's from Philly. I swear to God, he's from Frankfurt.
He's from AC. He's from Atlantic City.
I thought I heard
because that was Marge's iconic line.
Okay.
So the whole episode is being set up that we're having this sit down at Teresa's house. She sends all the girls invitations to come to her house and sit with her lawyer. And I know it's that boring.
I know.
And sit with her lawyer to find out what Marge has been doing. So Jem Fessler has lunch with Marge, and Marge is like, they're doing what? They're going to have a sit down to try to bring my name down. So then Marge calls Dolo, Marge calls Danielle and is like, are you guys really going to this? And they're like, we want to hear it out.
I thought Marge's reaction was actually like
so valid.
So valid. Like, so you're sitting here, like she's literally sitting across the table from her friend at lunch who is telling her, hey, we're going over, a group of us are going over to Teresa's house to basically bash you. You good with that?
Yeah. And to find out what trash talking that you might have been done. That. No, I'm not good with that. I was actually surprised that Messy Fessy backed down.
I was impressed that she backed down. I think she should have backed down.
Yeah. And I think Danielle being like, I just wanted to hear her out. We all know
that
Danielle was like, I want to go see what's happening.
Also, it's more screen time.
True.
Yeah.
I loved that Danielle went because Danielle's commentary during that was perfect. So then, I mean, realistically, then they have, did the men's parties happen before, during, after? I don't know.
Honestly, that's the only thing I care about this whole episode is the videos. So I'm just going to let you get through this.
Okay.
Big announcement of Teresa.
So Teresa sits us down and has this big announcement about Marge has been talking to Louie's ex-girlfriend. And that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
And Dolo's like, no one's surprised. No one really cares. And Teresa's like, can you believe it? Can you believe that and everyone's like, yeah. And then we see the confessional of Danielle being like, so this is what you guys were talking to Marge's best friends to get dirt on Marge. And now Marge is doing the same. So, okay, cool. Okay. And Dolo basically saying, yeah, it's a nothing burger. This isn't anything new. Now, the best part of this whole entire sit down is, yes, Marge saying that Teresa's lawyer is from Atlantic City and her lawyer is from Madison Avenue. This lawyer walking in there with his tinted glasses, his slicked back hair, and his leather jacket. I cannot. This man. Jim, whatever his last name is.
James Leonard, baby. James
Leonard. Jimmy Leonard ain't it. Yeah. Jimmy Leonard is doing all the backdoor deals, doing all the backdoor things. Like, this man is making the deals, doing the things in AC. We know that. Now, when the doorbell rings and these flowers from Marge come, this is the most iconic Housewives moment. If those flowers or that note doesn't make it to the clubhouse or it's some BravoCon in the future, I would be surprised. This is one of the most iconic, pettiest moments I've ever seen in Bravo TV, and it was perfection. Marge sends a funeral arrangement to Teresa's house with a note that says, R.I.P. to your dignity, Jimmy and Tree. Love, Marge.
Love. I love that part.
Love. That was, it was iconic. It was iconic Housewives moment. This is why you watch the Housewives for moments like this. That's why.
You know what was not iconic and made me cringe so hard?
Tell me.
Louis taking the men down to the podcast area to make devotional videos. And then when Pauly is telling Dolores about it, there was like a long pause before she's like, it's like she realizes she's on TV and she's like, oh, that's nice. And I was like, no, what's going through your head is what's going through my head. Like, the fuck are you talking about devotional videos? Please. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Bill Aiden saying, Jenny.
I can't. No,
I felt like I looked inside their bedroom for a moment and I know my feet were curling. My husband was watching with me and was cracking up. So then at a
Iconic.
commercial break, I asked him to do a devotional video to me, but he knew I was taping it and he threw my phone off. He wouldn't let
Good
me
for
do
him.
it.
That's you
I
should.
know.
As
A
you should.
devotional
But
video.
I would have
Like,
broke your phone.
imagine, like, those
Okay.
poor guys are at that party and these guys are getting steak dinner over here.
I know. Can you imagine? I'm like trying to picture if Kyle showed up to a homie's house with like 3 other guys, and the host said, "All right, guys, we're gonna go downstairs and make devotional videos for our partners." I think he'd be like, "Yeah, I got it. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna do that. You guys have at it.
You could
I'm
tell
not partaking."
Paulie wanted no parts
To
of
die.
it. Jenny, we used to be lovey and
And that voice, what was the voice? But I really do
feel like
think,
I saw their bedroom voice or something.
but I feel like when Louis was telling Dolores, like I mean, I just said it, but I really do think she had the moment of like, oh shit, I'm on camera and I don't want to piss Teresa and Louis off.
Oh, the highest pitch. Oh, that's nice. Oh, like, oh my God, what do I say to this?
Yeah, she was
so
a little
weird.
thrown off by that.
Louis is so concerning.
He
moves and does all this stuff for the camera. It's very
red flagging all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, so bright. I mean, he literally is bright red. And it's just, I don't know, Teresa. I don't understand how GSC, I know we don't like seeing, I was going to say you don't like, I also don't actually like seeing her on my TV, but she does have a lot more maturity than
I know.
Teresa.
It's scary. And Louis, it's very frightening.
But I'm shocked that Gia
doesn't see through him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I am actually really shocked by that.
100%. I agree.
Or is it at least a little more skeptical of him and like kind of, watches him a little closer?
That's actually such a good point because I feel that exact same way because you do feel like she's the only adult in the household.
Yeah. So I just, it's really thrown me off that she hasn't been a little bit more wary of him.
Yeah. So then we switched to the other house where John Food is having an allergic reaction. And I got to say, Joe Benigno telling this man to sit down, shut up, and just see the doctor. I think that was like,
did you get a tingle in your Pringle?
I got a tingle in my Pringle, Joe Benigno. I was like, look at you. I was like, okay, Marge. Okay, I see it. I
gotta say, when he was refusing the help, though, I was like, every Italian man. I mean, I guess
I literally.
I was like, I'm living this.
This is my.
I'm not with an Italian man, so
Oh my God.
But
no, but this is one of the reasons why my grandfather, my brother, my dad, like it's the whole thing. Yeah. And like PTSD to every Italian woman out there that's had to deal with this stuff. I said to my husband, this gives me an immediate ick. Ick. I'll get all of you.
We're going to take the power out of the word ick here any minute because everything is an ick that eventually ick is going to have no meaning.
So, okay, they close us out and they give us a preview of The Last Supper.
Yeah, and it's just some lady sitting at a table, and I don't care about
something. Obviously gets thrown. There's some yelling.
It looks like Melissa and Teresa have one final
word.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and then we'll be done with them. So
yeah, on to the OC.
On to the OC.
I'm loving the OC.
I am too,
loving.
And I usually am not. And I can't believe I'm about to say this.
Oh, say it.
I'm really loving Shannon.
Same. I think the internet is like, we're all feeling it. I think we came in thinking, we came off of her DUI and everyone's obviously outraged by the DUI. Like, you have money, there are Ubers, blah, blah, blah. All true. I agree with all of that. I think what's happening is, honestly, Alexis coming on the show is the best thing that ever happened to Shannon. Because Alexis is such a nightmare that now we have this contrast of the two of them that you're like, oh God, I mean, if I have to choose between who I'm siding with, it's obviously gonna be Shannon, because Alexis is such a tryhard.
That's actually so interesting because I think, to your point too, Alexis is forcing Shannon to be accountable to the people that she might have harmed, like the Gina and the Emily. This is the first time we've seen Shannon give these real apologies that I feel like I actually believed it. I feel like she's clung on
Gina
to.
said the same thing in her confessional. Like, this is the most truthful Shannon has been, and she really believes what she's saying.
And it's weird because I almost do too. When she was with Shannon, all of us know that Shannon is the producer's friend. Or not Shannon, Tamra is the producer plan. And so when she, like, her separating herself from Tamra is almost, I think, giving the viewers more, what's the word, empathy towards her.
Yeah, and I think because we're also at this interesting crossroads with reality TV and how produced it is, that it's just, again, like her, whereas like her on screen with Alexis, it's easy to favor Shannon because Alexis is such a mess. And then it's kind of the same thing is happening with Tamra. Is like, we know Tamra's game. I almost feel like Tamra has said at one point that she cares about the show more than the friendships. She's there to make TV. And it's like, we are at this weird crossroads with reality TV where we want a little bit, we don't want it to feel so produced. So when we watch Tamra, we're watching, it's like, we know it's being produced. So we kind of like glaze over it. Like we're
not paying attention. We want to see the authentic.
Yeah. We're not really paying attention. Well, the scene is there. That's when we're scrolling our phone until someone else pops back on our TV.
And it's funny because absolutely, because it's funny. Even when I saw that scene with Jen and Tamara where they're walking the dogs and Tamara tries to give Jen advice about saying, I want you to try to do this on your own. You don't want to fall into the same situation. I just thought to myself, Tamara, last season, you brought Jen on this show. And the first second you went at her throat about how she was living her life. You did her so dirty as someone who is supposed to be her friend. And now you're trying to pretend like you care. I don't know. It just wasn't.
Andy Cohen asked Jen about that on Watch What Happens Live. Like, kind of, it seems like you've been able to bounce back quickly with Tamra, or maybe it was like one of the people that called in and said, is it because it's just easier to be her friend than not? And she was like, well, truthfully, yeah, it is easier to just be on Tamra's good side, but also like, I like the friendship, but you could tell that there's definitely an element of like, I'm not trying to be Tamra's enemy. I've already done one season of that and it was hell.
I think, that's Tamra for you.
Yeah, that is Tamra for you.
So thinking about this season, this episode, this flag football stuff, I kind of just was I was like, why are we doing this? Okay, we get it. They have to do an activity. Gina then apologizes to Jen about how she treated her, what she said, and then talks a little bit about what's going on with her and Travis and how they are not going to be living together anymore.
Tamra go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Tamra makes a comment in response to Gina saying that and says like, this doesn't make sense in like the history of the world. Like this, like any couple that's ever started to live separately. And I really understand Gina's point of view and why she's doing this. Like, I think she's not completely willing to let go of the relationship, but it's becoming such a burden for her and her own 3 kids that she's really having to choose their immediate dynamic, or their immediate the happiness between her and her 3 children and her ex above her relationship with Travis and his 3 kids.
And with that being said, because so great that Gina chose her kids and the dynamic, but I think it also, to Tamra's point, like, this isn't a good look. If he's moving out, can you get back from that?
I think, or is it they both really
step to the end? Because I think that's what Tamara's trying to say, is like, this is the beginning of the end. And like, when they closed out this episode, you see Gina saying like, I hope it works out, but if it doesn't. And to me, that was one of those beginning of the end conversations.
I think Gina's thing is like, I think she'd be willing to really work it out, assuming all his stuff with his ex goes away. And I feel like they can't really move forward until that happens, and that they both have enough money to bring the whole family back together.
And if you have
But I don't think it's impossible.
I also think if you have kids with someone, though, the ex is always going to be there.
I guess I mean specifically these court hearings that are taking a lot of financial.
Yeah. I don't think it's a good sign. I don't feel like it's a good sign.
No,
There's a
it's
part of
probably
me
not.
too that I just think Gina can do better.
Yeah, I don't know much about Travis either. That's the other thing.
And from what you do read on the blogs, she allegedly is the breadwinner, bringing home the bacon, taking care of the family. So to your point, the fact that she did decide to advocate for her kids and her family, I think that's awesome, because that's really, really hard once you're in it. I mean, we're watching the same thing happen to Jen.
To Jen now, yeah.
And
it's so scary.
Yeah.
I can't. Can you imagine being Jen's age with that many kids and not have? She said she's never had a credit card in her name.
It's so weird, because you said something about Jen last week that I've really been thinking about.
And what's that?
This is what I do. I think about these things. How you said, like, where she came from, this, like, she got married so young, and where she came from, this was the norm. And how, because I wasn't feeling as much sympathy or empathy for her situation, because, like, in my head, it's, oh, she's had everything given to her. She's never had to work a day in her life, et cetera, et cetera. And you bringing the point up that it was how she was raised. And I think for me, it's so hard to imagine that. And I'm sure for you too, like, we've had to work since we were 16. We've had to have our own money, have our own bank accounts. Nothing's ever been gifted to us. So it was hard for me to see that side of things. And I think last night when the episode was on and she talked about never having a credit card, it was a light bulb moment to me that she's dependent on men. And that's all she knows. And so even moving on to Ryan, this is her survival net. Like, this is her keeping her head above water.
Yeah.
Even if that man's her dad.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I would say it's more, it's not that I don't think any blame is on her. I just also think, like, this is a parenting thing as well. Like, your parents have always given you what they wanted. Then it was set up so that her husband was working for her family. So then that meant that she was taking the role of being at home. It was like, it was laid out for her. And then at this stage in life, how are you going to compete for some of these jobs when, like, there's so many younger people coming after your jobs that are more
even tech savvy, like things like that. Things like that. So, it's a shame.
I remember even watching after, like, the whole financial crisis, and just watching, like, I don't know, there was just, like, you could see other parents struggling, and then there were younger kids coming into the market taking their jobs. And that sort of hit close to home for me. And so when I was watching her, I had that in mind as well. It's like, like, we could yell at her all day to go get a job, but it's not that simple. It's not like she can just walk in any place and be like, hire me at 45 years old with 5 kids and no experience.
I do think, though, to some of their points, like the Range Rover, the extension.
This is where things get murky.
Exactly. Like, where you're putting your money, I think is, because we've also seen a lot of moms in our life. And I mean, I think that's, like, being where we're from, we've seen a lot of moms get their, like, same situation, get their shit together, go out there, get a job, working wherever, hustle. So I think I'm really happy that Gina apologized to her.
Yeah, I thought this whole conversation was really great.
Yeah.
The other conversation,
go ahead.
The other conversation I really liked was, there was a conversation between Emily and Shannon, and Emily starts talking about how, since she said that she actually felt more confidence when she was bigger than where she's feeling now, because now she's become such a slave to this body and the obsession. And it just reminded me a little bit of, like, I feel like we talked a little bit about this when we were in LA together.
Yeah.
And it's just such a, and we've talked about food noise on here before, but two things were happening. I was like, damn, does this ever get easier? Like, these women are older than me. And I'm like, shit, like, is this just like a continued narrative that we play in our heads for the rest of our lives?
Yeah.
About our bodies and stuff. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, I was glad that they were talking about it on TV, because I know women everywhere are having these conversations, whether with a friend or in their own head.
Yeah. And this is why, again, Emily Simpson will always be up there for me in my top 5. The way, I mean, she's sexy as hell. I thought she was sexy as hell before. I think she's sexy as hell now. Having the balls to be able to do a boudoir shoot while like on TV, she was hot as hell, like killing it. And to have a vulnerable conversation about your body, about your weight, about like, you know, she's working out 5, 6, 7 days a week. I mean, we know that struggle. Like, me and you have, like you said, we just had this conversation about our own shit. And it's like, I have this conversation probably with every one of my friends. And
it's really, it's a bummer.
It's a bummer. And also, I think it's also brave of them to be talking about it. And
I agree.
Most iconic scene in Housewives history is Emily bringing the sub into the steamer.
You love that scene.
Iconic. It was the most relatable shit I've ever seen.
And then Shane's walking around with his
big gulp. The way they did that shady edit of Shane's big gulp all around the house.
She said every morning he goes to 7-Eleven for that. That's so disgusting. I would.
It is. And I also drink a Diet Coke every day.
Every day?
I was going to say, so I used to do it just on weekends. I'm probably 5 days a week I drink a Diet Coke.
Interesting.
Because I will forget some days.
Only could you forget.
Yeah. But yeah, I love a Diet Coke. But I don't drink coffee or anything. Like, that's my caffeine. The big gulp of it all, like Coke, I think is disgusting. Sorry, don't sponsor us.
But the conversation she ended up having with Shane about like what he's eating and stuff and like the health concerns are conversations that I have had in my own life with my partner. Yeah. And it's so funny because it's a conversation you would never have with your partner in your 20s or like, you know,
I mean, I had to have those conversations in my 20s.
But I guess for like the most part, people in their 20s are not like in those younger relationships. They're not talking about that. And then it's like you hit a certain stage in life.
Yeah, welcome, bitch.
Yeah,
welcome, bitch.
It really starts to matter, and it's things that. And I have a dead dad and probably almost dead stepdad, and so it's like Jesus the health Christ. Stuff. I know. I'm just kidding.
Almost. What is that?
No, just like there's a lot of health stuff there, a lot of health stuff, and it's from bad eating habits, and so I'm acutely aware of stuff that we're putting into our bodies, and I feel like I've been preaching to Kyle for so long about like all of this shit matters. All of this shit, everything you're putting in your body, it matters. Yeah. And for so long, it was kind of looked over. And until like recently, when some stuff happened, he's like, "Oh shit, it matters." I'm like I don't want to say I told you so, but I kind of fucking told you so.
This is my husband had high cholesterol this year. The high cholesterol saga of 2024.
Okay, that's exactly what we're dealing with.
Like the acting, like the men and their high cholesterol and acting like infants, like when they have a health problem. Shout out to all these women out here supporting men going through high cholesterol.
That's literally what our issue is.
Yeah, no kidding. This is what happens. You can't eat chips and eat like
hot dogs and red meat all
and be
the
like,
time.
"Oh my god, this is fine. I can do this."
It's not fine.
Like, no kidding.
That's wild.
Emily, we relate. We get it. Yeah. That's good. I mean, Emily, we can relate to her. We see her. We end this episode with Gina waving goodbye. I have to say, I really liked her outfit in this scene. That's nothing to do with anything. She's waving goodbye to Travis. Travis just gives like frumpy, like he just, to me, isn't like, I just get the energy that she's taking care of him.
And that's not fun.
No. And I think like it can be mutual taking care of, but it feels like she is the one kind of running the ship. And there's too many kids, too many things going on. Yeah. So I think we're about to see what's going to go on there. Cool. The other storylines, I feel like the Shannon DUI thing, we've kind of moved on from that. Yeah, new girl Katie brought on Sutton and did a little bit of a crossover there. It was interesting to see Sutton. My favorite thing that happened was our preview for next week, where new girl Katie goes for HD, Heather Dubrow. We're here to see it. We're going to be back.
What it's about too,
yeah.
I think.
What is it about?
Disney
the paparazzi.
I remember when they came out because they're like, I think he's like holding her and she's like.
And in the preview, Heather Dubrow swears up and down that she did not call the paparazzi and did not stage these photos. Like, Heather, we were not born yesterday. We did not fall off the turnip truck. So we'll see that unfold next week. Yeah. You never heard that one? Showing my age and my cholesterol. Anyhow, we'll be back next Thursday with an all new episode of Bonded by Bravo. If you don't already follow us, download our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere podcasts are found. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Bonded by Bravo Pod. And we'll see you next week, friends.
Bye.